Welcome, one and all, my fellow Americans, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. It is day 3. Is this just 3? Because Wednesday was off, so it's just day 3 of the hush money trial here in New York, New York, the city that never sleeps unless you're Donald Trump in a courtroom. They're still in the process of jury selection, and in that process, the defense and the prosecution, by New York law, have a limited number of jurors they can strike without cause, which came as news to Donald Trump, who yesterday truthed, "I thought strikes were supposed to be unlimited when we were picking our jury." Yes, strikes famously unlimited. That's why umpires yell, "Strike 3, you're at the start of a beautiful journey." Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll be right back. 7. I think he's mixing up strikes with unlimited breadsticks. They had a really productive day today. Matter of fact, right before I came out here to do the show, we learned that a full jury has now been picked for Donald Trump's New York trial. Plus, 1 alternate has been seated too. So 13, also known as a stormy dozen. Now, this doesn't mean they're done, right? They're not done yet because they still need 5 more alternates, and they could still lose the jurors that they've got. Because remember, when we went to bed last night, there were 7 confirmed jurors. Then this morning, that number went down to 6, then down to 5. 5 jurors confirmed on the case, 5 jurors confirmed. Take 1 down, threaten his family, 4 jurors confirmed on the case. So, why were they removed? I'm not entirely sure, but juror number 2 told the judge that people in her life had figured out she'd been selected and then had started to try to influence her. That frustrated Judge Merchan, who admonished the press for reporting juror descriptions and gave this example. There was really no need to mention that one of the jurors had an Irish accent. That's true. That little detail allowed me to positively identify him as the Lucky Charms guy. They're after me home address. So the judge says now we're no longer allowed to mention anything about what the jurors look like, but he did not say anything about hobbies. According to the New York Times, there are a lot of hikers in the jury pool, someone who enjoys woodworking and someone else who likes fly fishing. Oh, I love the fly fishing in Manhattan. I mean, I get up at 5 a.m. when the light's just right. I head out to the large puddle on the corner of 38th and 10th and just, 10 and 2. Yesterday, I caught a Band-Aid this big. Threw it back, obviously. Now, while he was in New York, Trump took some time off from the courtroom to pretend to be president again. Because yesterday, he met with Polish President Andrzej Duda, who is sucking up to Trump. Duda. Duda. That's right. That's right.
See you.
How long did they meet? Oh, all the Duda day? You gotta find your fun where you can these days, folks. Duda is just the latest in a series of strongmen who have visited Trump recently. Earlier this year, Trump met with the right-wing populist president of Argentina, Javier Milei, as well as Hungary's Viktor Orban, and who can forget this very cordial summit with Skeletor and the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein. I was never on that airplane! Skeletor doesn't want to be associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
This is yet another reminder that in this election, our democracy is on the line, which is why pollsters are asking voters the critical questions like, do Americans think Trump or Biden would win a hot dog eating contest? Personally, I don't know, but I think we just found a great new debate format. I'm Wolf Blitzer. Our first question is for President Biden. Sir, given the escalating crisis in the Middle East, would you rather fart out of your mouth or talk out of your butt? Could I take that one, Wolf? The results of the poll are as unsettling as the contents of a hot dog. 58% backed Trump in the dog down, while only 13% went Biden. Now, in the middle of a stressful court case, this must be so comforting news for Trump. Mr. President, there's going to be weeks of humiliating testimony about your sexual infidelity. But I wanted you to know you did just win a poll saying you could swallow much more pureed hog anus. Now, it wasn't... Really? Okay. Hog anus rarely gets applause. It wasn't just, no. For the love of God, do not come down to my level. It wasn't just vital questions about ingesting processed meats. This poll got answers on other major issues, such as Trump would beat Biden at having a poker face. Oh, yes, he is a master of deception. A lot of people are saying I have the perfect hand. They're saying it's a queen, a 7, a 4, a 2 of clubs, and a holographic Squirtle Pokemon card. All in. In another big win for the ex-president, pollsters determined that Trump would have a significant lead over Biden when it comes to fighting a medium-sized dog. I'd believe that.
Yeah.
We already know he can dominate a lap dog because I've seen him with Lindsey Graham.
Oh!
Really? Lindsey Graham fans. Biden did come out on top in 3 categories: teaching a beginner's cooking class, house sitting for a long weekend, and changing a baby's diaper. Kind of tells you everything you need to know about this election. Well, I trust Biden with all the tasks that require care and empathy, but I'm going to go with the guy who could body slam a poodle through a picnic table. Those polls show just how detached from reality the 2024 election has become. But with an unhinged opponent, all Biden has to do is go out there and make normal, relatable statements. Unfortunately, yesterday he claimed, "Cannibals ate my uncle." Okay. That's either a very unusual story or another one of Biden's folksy phrases. Like, I guess I woke up on the wrong side of cannibals eating my uncle this morning. Well, you know, you can't make an omelet without a cannibal eating my uncle. This has to be a misquote, right? I mean, the president of the United States certainly would never go out on camera and tell a long, mumbly story about his actual uncle being devoured by cannibals in World War II, right?
My Uncle Bosie, he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
That is a crazy and tragic story. Though if true, it is hard to blame the people of New Guinea for turning cannibal because there is so little meat on their country's pigs. Now, turning... Thank you very much. Turning to international news, an Australian man took the largest pumpkin grown in the country this year and paddled it down a river. Take a look. Here he comes, and... Yes? Oh, hell yeah. There he is. I have officially found the coolest guy in Australia. Sorry, the Wiggles. As far as why he rode his pumpkin down the river, the man said his only real motive was to have fun and make people smile. Well, yeah. We kind of assumed that. Can you imagine if his motive had been literally anything else? I'm trying to find my daughter who's been taken. I have a very particular set of skills. Unfortunately, they are finding, carving, and rowing pumpkins. She's a goner. Here's something I rarely say. There's interesting news from Connecticut, where 2 vultures that were feared to be dying were, in fact, just too drunk to fly. But the vultures did the right thing. Instead of flying drunk, they called a Ubered. I like in the graphic. Go back to the graphic. Jimmy, I understand the vulture hailing the Ubered, but there's a vulture driving it, too. That doesn't seem safer. The staff at a local bird sanctuary discovered the vultures were unable to balance or stand and determined the birds were drunk after they ran every test. I would love to see those tests. All right, touch your beak with your wings. All right, now recite the alphabet backwards. Caw! Okay, you're drunk. Now, rescuers determined that the vultures had consumed something that was fermented enough to cause severe intoxication after dumpster diving. To which Rudy Giuliani said, "Thanks for swinging by, fellas." Thanks. My Rudy is close to a Jimmy Durante at this point. Hacha. The vultures have finally recovered, rescuers said. They only needed fluids to be tucked in overnight, then fed a big breakfast the next day. Answering the question that has plagued ornithologists for years. What do you do with a drunken vulture? What do you do with a drunken vulture? What do you do with a drunken vulture? Feed them a big breakfast. We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Sandra Oh and Reed Scott. But when we come back, puppies. Join us, won't you?